Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today is Monday, April 5th. We're going to be talking about some NBA DFS picks for today on DraftKings and FanDuel. But before we get started, we're going to take a quick look back at yesterday's picks and kind of see how they turned out. So on the DraftKings side, Steph Curry, $9,800. Looking for about 49 points out of him. Got to 49.75, so he was a hit. Kevin Porter Jr., he's kind of one of my pivot options there later on in the day. $6,900. Looking for about 35 points out of him. Only got 24.75, so he was a miss. Avery Bradley, someone I did like a lot for that cheaper price tag, especially at that small forward position. $3,700. Looking for about 19 points out of him. He got 9. Terrible shooting day for him. He got the minutes, just didn't put up the points. It's pretty simple as that. Hopefully he does a little bit better today. I probably won't play him today, so that means he's going to do better today. So then at power forward, I went with Kyle Anderson, $5,600. Got to 30.5, so he was a hit. We were looking for about 28 points out of him. Clint Capella, $8,800. Looking for 44 points out of him. Got to 53.5, so he was a big hit there. Then on the FanDuel side, he had Steph Curry, $9,000, looking for 45 points out of him. Got to 47, so he was a hit. Jason Randall was a guy that I liked earlier on once we knew Michael Carter-Williams was going to be out. Randall didn't end up starting. By the time we figured that out, there was only the last game left, so there really wasn't any pivot options, so I just kind of left him there. If you were like me and you played, I had Randall and Terrence Ross as my shooting guard positions yesterday. I was able to pivot to Dwayne Bacon and Will Barton, so that kind of saved me there and definitely helped out on the FanDuel side. Then a small forward had Kevin Porter Jr. as well. $6,000, looking for 30 points out of him. Got 20.5, so he was a miss. Christian Wood, thought he'd be a little bit better yesterday. Looks like they were playing him and Kelly Olynyk out there at the same time. Kelly Olynyk was the one making all his shots, so that definitely hurt Christian Wood a little bit. He was $8,000, looking for 40 points out of him. Got to 34.9. He was a miss. Probably better off going with Tobias Harris on that FanDuel side for about the same price range. Then at center, we had Clint Capella, $9,000, looking for 45 points out of him. Got to 53.6, so he was definitely a hit over there as well. So overall, pretty hit or miss day. But for me personally, I did pretty good on both sides. I think having that Steph Curry and that Clint Capella pairing together definitely helped out quite a bit. If you guys were able to get to RJ Hampton once we figured out the Magic lineup on DraftKings side, that definitely helped you out as well. If you got a little bit of Lonzo Ball like I did on the FanDuel side, definitely helped out as well once we figured out that he was going to be starting, that he didn't have any minutes restrictions, and that all these other guys were out. It also didn't hurt that he made 8 3-pointers, which is career high for him. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to the injuries for today's slate. So we got the Utah Jazz. No new injuries here. All game time decisions for these guys. They really don't play anyway, so not worried about them. Dallas Mavericks, Willie Cauley-Stein, JJ Redick are out once again. There's actually a story about JJ Redick about how he wanted to get traded to the Northeast to be closer to his family in Brooklyn, and they traded him in Dallas, so maybe he's just not going to play. Maybe he's going to be a buyout candidate. We'll just have to see, honestly. Terry, Porzingis, and Richardson are all game time decisions. Obviously, the biggest one there is Kristaps Porzingis. We'll see if he plays or not. Maybe we get another Boban night. Then with Richardson, obviously, if he doesn't play, it helps out Tim Hardaway Jr. Then we move over to the Sacramento Kings. Marvin Bagley still out. Hassan Whiteside. And apparently they have Damon Jones now, too. They're both game-time decisions. We'll see if either one of them plays. If one of them plays, it does affect Rashawn Holmes' minutes a little bit, too, so just keep an eye out on that. Then for the Timberwolves, Beasley, Noel, Rubio, and Russell, they're all game-time decisions, unlikely to play. So you got a little bit of a banged-up Timberwolves team here. You're looking at Jordan McLaughlin, Edwards, Towns, McDaniels. All these guys are going to be in play today for sure. Then for the New York Knicks, just Mitchell Robinson out. Brooklyn Nets, who they're going against, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, Tyler Johnson, Landry Shamet, they're all out. Well, I was looking at this at first. Maybe you see James Harden and Kyrie Irving staggering minutes a little bit. Maybe it makes both them a little bit more enticing. Obviously, James Harden is back now, but they don't really have a true backup point guard without Tyler Johnson and Landry Shamet. They do have, I can't even remember his name. I think it's like Chiwuzi or something like that too. He plays every once in a while out of the blue. So maybe he's in play today. Maybe he gets 10 to 15 minutes. But I think they're probably going to stagger Harden and Irvin's minutes a little bit more than normal. So just look out for that. Probably helps both of them out a little bit. Then we move down to the Cavaliers. Jared Allen, still out. Larry Nance, still out. And Dylan Windler is out as well. So you're looking at guys like Dean Wade being in play. Maybe Hartenstein again. Kevin Love, maybe, if we get news that his minutes are going to be a little bit higher. But otherwise, not too interested in their team. San Antonio Spurs, Lonnie Walker's still out. Trey Lyles is out. Bates Diop's out. And then Eubanks and Gorgie Jang are both game time decisions. If they would miss, I'd definitely like Jakob Poeltl once again today. We saw the upside that he had when he had no true backup center behind him. With that being said, I think Eubanks is going to play. He just had a migraine the last time out, so he should be good to go. Then for the Pistons, we got Wayne Ellington, Rodney McGruder, Jahlil Okafor, and Mason Plumlee all out today. Plumlee is actually resting. Isaiah Stewart should be in the starting lineup. There's no true backup center behind him. We could see a little bit of Tyler Cook today. I believe he's real cheap on DraftKings. So if you want to go out there, punt play Tyler Cook, not against that. Oklahoma City, who they are going against, they have quite a bit of people out as well. Darius Baisley, Lou Dort, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is probably going to be out all year. Josh Hall, Mike Muscala, and Isaiah Roby. So you're going to see a lot of Povashevsky in this game. You're going to see a lot of Kendrick Williams. As weird as it sounds, I kind of like playing both those guys today. Sheed Mikhailuk should maybe even get an extra couple minutes. Maybe he plays a little bit of three. Maybe they go with Ty Jerome and Teo Maledon in the lineup at some point in time too. Maybe you see a little bit of Justin Jackson. Maybe a little bit more of Tony Bradley. Maybe him and Moses Brown play on the court at the same time. Lots of different possibilities there, so it might be a little bit tougher to nail down. But we're going to want to go after those guys who we know kind of have those guaranteed minutes in this one. Then we move down to the Washington Wizards, Toronto Raptors. Obviously, Bradley Beal, game time decision. We'll see if he plays or not. Daniel Gafford, Rui Hachimura, both out once again. So obviously, you're looking at Alex Len, Robin Lopez at center. Not really interested in either of those two. Their prices have kind of come up a little bit. But Davis Bertans on DraftKings, I can't remember what his FanDuel price is, but on DraftKings, he's kind of appealing. I know he's a guy that he pretty much has to score points to be worth it, but Bradley Beal doesn't play. He could be that secondary point scorer on this team. So mainly looking at Russell Westbrook, maybe a little bit of Davis Bertans. Whoever ends up starting for Bradley Beal, maybe, but we saw Garrison Matthews play like 20-some minutes last game, and he didn't do anything. Then for the Toronto Raptors, obviously we're looking to see if Fred VanVleet's going to play or not. He obviously left last time out. If he does end up playing, he's a decent price over on FanDuel. His price didn't change at all. If he doesn't play, Gary Trent's in play, Malachi Flynn's in play, kind of playing those pseudo point guard role. OG Anunoby definitely in play if VanVleet doesn't play. Siakam same way. Boucher possibly as well if he ends up starting again. Then obviously you see down below a lot of the same guys out. Rodney Hood, Kyle Lowry, Patrick McCaw, Paul Watson out once again. For the Phoenix Suns, Kaminsky and Nader are both out. This is a hard Suns team to nail down. I don't really like any of the starters. I think they're all kind of overpriced. But maybe you see a blowout here. Maybe you see Cam Johnson, Dario Saric getting good minutes. If Houston goes with Christian Wood and Kelly Olynyk on the floor at the same time for a good majority of this game, I would not be surprised if DeAndre Ayton and Dario Saric play on the court at the same time as well. Then for the Rockets, obviously we got the same three guys out that have been out for a while now. John Wall's out. Daniel House is out as well. So we're looking at the Kevin Porter, the Christian Wood show, maybe Kelly Olynyk. We'll see who ends up starting in place of Daniel House, whether it's Avery Bradley. Maybe we get a little bit of Ben McLemore action today. You guys know I love him. And if Ben McLemore starts, if Ben McLemore's in play, rule number one, I'm going to play Ben McLemore in at least one line. But with that being said, that's all we got for today's slate. The good thing about today's slate is pretty much all the games start at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Then there's the 8 o'clock Eastern time. There is no late games today. So if you're checking your lineups late into the night, want to see how you do before you go to sleep, you don't have to stay up quite as late tonight. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to DraftKings and talk about my picks over there. So at point guard, we got Jordan McLaughlin. Talked about all those Minnesota guys being out. $4,400 looking for 22 points out of him. I believe he got 35 the last time out. I know it was over 30 for sure. I think, he's definitely a guy that's got solidified minutes tonight, going to be on the court a ton. So he's a guy that's going to get you 25 points or more pretty easily in this one. Goes against a very good matchup against that Kings team. Their defense is not good by any means at all. Then on the opposite side of that game, we got Tyrese Halliburton, $6,500, looking for 32, 33 points out of him. Sounds like a lot, playing decent minutes, playing against a poor Minnesota defense as well. Banged up team, definitely could get some additional run in this game. Maybe it's a little bit of a showboat game for him as well, trying to show off, that he's that rookie of the year and it's not Anthony Edwards on the other side of the court who was the number one pick in the draft. Just a lot of different factors that you could dig into if you're into those type of narratives. Then at small forward, I was debating between Povashevsky and Kenrich Williams. Ultimately ended up on Kenrich Williams now, $200 cheaper. They both should play about the same amount of minutes in this game. I think both of them are pretty good plays if you want to play both of them together. You're looking for about 25, 26 points out of him. He's definitely capable of doing that. Going against the Pistons team that's not great by any means, especially on defense. So it should be a pretty good game for him overall. Then we're going right back to that Minnesota game. We got Jaden McDaniels, $5,000, looking for 25 points out of him. Sacramento defense, still not good. We already talked about it with Jordan McLaughlin. McDaniels has played significant minutes. I think it's like 4 out of the last 6 games, 5 out of the last 7 games, something like that now. So he's got a pretty solid role on this team. They're already beat up, so he should see a ton of minutes tonight. Then last but not least, Isaiah Stewart. Talked about him a little bit. No Mason Plumlee tonight. Definitely should be an increase in minutes for him. Looking for 20 points out of him. As long as he doesn't get into foul trouble, he's definitely going to outperform that total. But if you go with these 5 guys over on DraftKings for today, you'll have $25,000 left over. Just over $8,300 per player. So definitely some room to pay up for 2 studs if you want to do so. And then fit in another player elsewhere. Or maybe as the day moves along, we might even find somebody that's better than Tyrese Halliburton, plug them in at shooting guard, and then maybe you even have the potential to pay up for 3 studs. Definitely a lot of different lineup constructions that you can play tonight. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my picks over there. So FanDuel, we're going right back to Jordan McLaughlin at point guard as well. $4,600 looking for 23 points. Not too much salts to say about him that I haven't already said on the DraftKings side. He's going to get the minutes. It's a great matchup. 23 points is not a lot to get for him, especially on tonight's slate, especially with the team as banged up as they are. It's definitely a good play tonight. And then shooting guard, we're going with Sterling Brown, $3,900. Hasn't played the best recently, honestly. Looking for about 19, 20 points out of him, averaging 18 on the season. We already talked about all the Houston injuries. Going to be in that starting lineup. Going to play more minutes without Daniel House out on the court as well. So definitely should be able to get you that 20-point upside that you need out of him. Then on the opposite side of that game, we got Mikal Bridges, $5,300, looking for 26, 27 points out of him. That's about right in line where he's averaging on the season. Kind of like I said with him, I believe a couple days ago when I picked him on the DraftKings side is, he's kind of a streaky guy, but this is a favorable matchup for him against that Houston team. Kind of fast pace, a game that should be in the Suns' favor quite a bit. There is a little bit of risk with him too. If this is a blowout, maybe he doesn't play as many minutes, but he's still a relatively young guy, so it's not like he's Chris Paul and they're winning by 18 points and they want to rest Chris Paul for the whole fourth quarter, something like that. So definitely a good choice for tonight once again. Then at power forward, I think Isaiah Stewart's almost a lock on FanDuel, $3,700. We talked about him on DraftKings already. He's going to get the minutes. He's going to get the playing time without Mason Plumlee out there. No true backup center behind him besides Tyler Cook, who's not really technically a center, but so he's definitely going to be in play today. And on FanDuel, where he's a power forward and you have to play 2, he's almost a lock tonight. There is a lot of great options at power forward on FanDuel, though. So just keep that in mind. So you don't have to play him, but I would definitely recommend playing him tonight. Especially if you're playing in cash, he's probably the first piece you put in, honestly. Him and Jordan McLaughlin. And then last but not least, center, we got Rudy Gobert. $8,100, looking for about 40, 41 points out of him. Just in line with what he's doing on this season. I don't think he's a bad play if Kristaps Porzingis does play. If Kristaps Porzingis doesn't play, Rudy Gobert is probably going to have his way with anybody on the Dallas side. But if you go with these 5 players over on FanDuel, you'll have $34,400 left over, $8,600 per player. So definitely a lot of flexibility, pay up for some studs, find some value elsewhere. There's always going to be value throughout the day. And there's just a lot of good options out there today, for a 7-game slate. These are the ones that I really prefer, the 7 games. There's going to be value there. There's going to be studs there. Can kind of mix and match. And you really don't have to try to overthink things too much. Just kind of be creative, test out different lineups, see what works for you, what you feel most comfortable with, what predicts well for you, and just go with that. These are my favorite slates. I don't like the super short slates like yesterday with the 3-4 games. And I don't like the big 11-12 games ones as much because sometimes there's just too much value and then it's all about hitting the right value. But that's kind of fun sometimes too, but that's a whole nother story. But with that being said, these are my picks for DraftKings and FanDuel for today, April 5th. As always, I'll be leaving all the news and starting lineups as they come out down in the comments below. If If you guys have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to ask. Definitely here to help you guys out the best that I can. And then with that being said, if you guys are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. Definitely helps build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports. And that's truly one for you, the viewers. Helping you guys with your DFS, whether it's NBA or NFL. Helping you guys with your fantasy football teams. Talking all the different football news this offseason. And then going to be talking a little bit of fantasy baseball and baseball news as well. But with that being said, if you were a new or current subscriber who's yet to do so, also hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I post up a new video. Like I've been saying, post up daily NBA DFS videos like this one. And then like I mentioned the other day, this week I'm going to be putting out some of my top 10 list at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end for the 2021 NFL draft class. Going to go over them real quickly, kind of who I like, why I have them in the spot that they're in, the pros, the cons to each player. So definitely be sure to look out for that if you guys are into NFL or NFL draft content. But with that being said, that's all I got for today's video. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Hopefully you all do very well in NBA DFS tonight. And as always, if you guys have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to ask. Definitely here to help you guys out the best that I can. And then last but not least, special little shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.